What is up, everybody? The DEPRESSING is back, and The Walking Dead is almost back, so that's a reason to celebrate. If we could just move this out right here, superimpose it. We're going to see Crazy Rick in just a few weeks, and it's going to be pretty intense, which is why I wanted to make this video in the first place. Just kind of thinking over what this mid-season premiere is going to mean for the show, and if this episode has the potential to actually become one of the most depressing episodes The Walking Dead has ever done. Now, this is kind of like a poll question, but at the same time, I'm going to discuss it, and then you can put your comments in the video after you are done watching this and give me your thoughts. But I think this episode seriously has the potential to become the most depressing episode ever. There's obviously a big spoiler reason as to why, and I'm going to say that right now. So obviously, if you're not caught up with the show, to the most recent episode, just mute it for like probably the whole video. I mean, the only way I can really talk about this moment is if I mention what happened. So just be warning everyone. But yes, the fact that Carl is dying, which is still a huge curveball that I think a lot of people feel polarized about. There's been a lot of petitions. I think a lot of people were happy when Scott Gimple was announced that he would no longer be the showrunner, although he is in charge of the whole franchise, so I don't know if that's really... It's not like he got fired or anything. He actually got a promotion, and I talked about that in my vlog that I had like a month ago. When that news was made, I said that he's not getting docked, he's getting a promotion. So Angela Kang, though, who does have experience, I mean, she's had various roles on the show for years, and now she's going to have a showrunner position. So I think, you know, Scott Gimple's not really going anywhere, but obviously he had a big hand to play in the fact that Carl was taken out of the show. But we also saw that Robert Kirkman was fine with it, which, again, also confuses me because his comic book, so much of the material that comes after the war with Negan relies on Carl's character and how he interacts with a new group of adversaries that come afterwards. Comic book readers know, of course, what I'm talking about. But at the same time, it's pretty confusing, concerning. I don't know if a lot of people thought the show was going to be in jeopardy because of this, but regardless of all of those things that I've, again, talked about in previous vlogs, I think the fact remains that this episode, in my opinion, I'm just going to say now, I think it is going to be the most depressing episode of The Walking Dead ever. We've seen how Rick reacts to devastation. Season 3, I mean, Season 3 had the great psychosis and the psychological nature of Rick Grimes when Lori was killed off. And the nature of how that was, the fact that their relationship was kind of teetering. They had a lot of animosity between them after what happened to Shane in the Season 2 finale. And there was a rift between them, and you felt it. And I love the scene where they're standing near the bridge of the prison, and you kind of see them standing next to each other, and he kind of reaches out and puts a hand on her, because you could see the distance and the rift that's physically between them. From a film perspective, like, that's a great steady shot of them, and then it kind of... You get a different shot that's more of a close-up of that. And then he reaches over as if to kind of break the rift and break that barrier. And then they do this in another way when, right before the scene where she ends up dying, Rick is outside the prison fencing area, and Lori kind of looks at him, and then he kind of looks at her, and they kind of put their hands on the fencing as if to say, you know, there's still distance between them. And, of course, right after that, that's when they see the walkers that got loose. And, yeah, it's pretty tragic. And they did a lot of interesting things with the cinematography to show the distance between these characters so that there was a lot more impact when Lori's made her departure. And everything they did with the phone, like, remember the phone calls that were all fake where Rick was talking to dead characters on the phone trying to break down how he was surviving and how he felt desperate, and he didn't seem like a leader. This was Rick at probably his lowest point. And there was just, like, the only thing that really ignited him was the governor attacking, and Rick kind of was forced to step up as a leader because there was a very real threat that was screwing things up. I mean, hell, the scene with the governor like first attacks the prison, and Rick is outside the prison, imagining Laurie's out there, and he's talking to Herschel, and then all of a sudden he has to, jump in the grass and freaking, have to fend off the prison. It's crazy, and it was cool because we had the next big shift in his psychological nature when he rips Joe's throat out, which was a pretty badass scene. But it was the fact that he went from a very cautious man of trying to hold on to this nature of humanity, but he kind of snapped and said that I'm going to do whatever it takes to save Carl, to save Michonne, my group. And we saw that ruthlessness. We saw the ruthlessness with ripping Joe's throat out, which then kind of led into how he dealt with Gavin, or not Gavin. Was it Gavin? No, Gareth. Yeah. Why did I say Gavin? No, Gavin's the fucking savior leader who deals with the kingdom. Jeez, I'm getting all the names mixed up. Gareth. The cannibals, when Gareth begged for mercy and then Rick just slashed him to pieces with his red machete. So again, we saw the ruthlessness and we saw the course of that, and that's again the biggest reason I stay with the show is because of the how they deal with Rick's psychological nature and some of the examples I just gave, and we saw a bit of how he is just devastated when Carl is injured. I mean, think about No Way Out. Remember the season 6 mid-season premiere two years ago at this time when Carl got shot in the eye, and there was comic book readers knew that he wasn't going to die, but there was a lot of fear for other people that, oh my god, he might die. Rick thought so. Remember, he just walks outside with the axe and just takes on a horde of zombies, just slashing everything in a fit of rage. He just wants to take his anger out. And then afterwards, he's talking about how he was wrong. He has to believe in the new society that Deanna wanted to build in Alexandria. And you can see it. There's just a lot of pain. I mean, it's his only kid, his last living resemblance to Laurie, unless you count Judith. But it's certainly been confirmed that Judith is Shane's and not Rick's. But I know this is gonna be tough, man. This is gonna be really tough, and I think the whole episode is gonna be fucking sad as hell. Like unless there's some other angles to it, unless maybe we see Morgan and Carol trying to break Ezekiel out and save him from Gavin. That would be pretty cool because we saw some previews of that. And I don't know if it's going to happen in the mid-season premiere, but it would still be cool. Maybe we can see some of the repercussions with the junk group because we do have that scene where Simon goes there and he's threatening them, probably pissed off that they switch sides back to Rick. Again, but these are all scenes that were jumbled out, teased for what was going to come this spring. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen in the mid-season premiere. I think it's extended. I don't know if it's 90 minutes or 80 minutes. I heard it was extended. I don't know if it's a full hour and a half, 90 minutes, or 60 minutes because, you have to factor in the stupid commercials. It's going to be rough. This episode is going to be rough, and I think I'm going to say it's going to be the most depressing episode, and it's just like, the mid-season finale ended on a depressing note, but now this is the last stand, and you want to think that the group is going to unite around a cause, but you have different things. Like, they're trying to unite together to take out Negan and to finish off that last threat, but then you also have this super depressing news about Carl, man, and I just don't know how Rick's reaction is going to be very interesting to me. I don't know if he's going to freaking start just butchering zombies, or if he's going to freaking charge headfirst into Negan and the Saviors and want to take them out so he can get his anger out. Like, there's going to be something he's going to just take his anger out on. And, we've seen the previews with him kind of yelling into the walkie-talkie, and it's assuming that he's talking to Negan. That's another scene I'm really looking forward to. Negan learning that Carl was bit and is going to die. That's going to be incredibly interesting, considering the emotional heart-to-heart that they had in the mid-season finale, which Chandler Riggs revealed was the last scene that him and Jeffrey Dean Morgan acted together, which is kind of sad. Again, considering in the comic their characters have many more interactions. When Negan's in prison and they talk to each other, they're kind of friends as Carl grows up, and I will never understand the true extent as to why they killed Carl off. And, I'm not a huge fan of the character. Obviously Rick is my favorite character. I love, Negan as a villain, and there's other characters that I have more investment with besides him. And, I didn't think Chandler Riggs was the best actor. I really didn't. I mean, if you look at the kids in the freaking Stranger Things TV show, I mean, those are kids that have great acting talent and great acting potential who have been nominated for awards, but I don't know. I mean, I just don't feel... I mean, Chandler Riggs has gotten better as he's been on the show for so long, but I just don't think it's been like the level that it should be at. So that's kind of my verdict. I think this has the potential and probably will be the most depressing episode The Walking Dead has ever put out. So yeah, leave your comments. Again, I want to try to make more vlogs as we still have like what, a week, 2 weeks until the show returns. So the reactions will come back every Sunday at that point, but I also want to try to put out some other footage for you guys. I took some gameplay of like Call of Duty and some other video games that I've played recently, just stuff that I've just been playing in my free time, and I'm like, hey, my fans might want to see this on the YouTube channel, so if you'd like to check that out, it's there. I know some of my fans are still gaming fans who watch the residual content that I put out, and that's why I still put it out. This channel is still a mishmash of Walking Dead and gaming stuff, and I handle it just day by day, just depending what I want to do for the channel. But I kind of wanted to make this episode because it was just looming on me, because like I'm gonna come back from a hiatus of having not done the reaction videos for a long time, but now I'm going to be coming back with this kind of negative, just this negative stigma. I mean, we're just going to have this just a bummer. Like we're losing a main character. This is the last time Carl will ever be on the show. He will be murdered, probably put down, most likely by Rick. Rick will have to put him down before he turns into a zombie. And it's going to be the grieving process this episode. And then the episodes that follow, it's just going to be his emotional turmoil. But it's cool because then we might go back to that Season 3 point where they jumped into the psychological nature of how the people closest to the character that died, how they deal with it going forward. So to that degree, I'm interested. And that's why I don't understand why people get so caught up in the drama of, oh, this show is horrible. And sure, they've made some questionable decisions. I mean, even Carl's death is questionable, and I've talked about that, how I'm not sure why they did it. But hopefully, after seeing the second half, and once Season 8's complete, then I can say, okay, fair play. Again, I've said this before, but this is the same stance I had with the cliffhanger, with the Negan cliffhanger, where they didn't show us who was killed, and I was really pissed off, and I flipped a chair, and there's a reaction video of me flipping a chair, and I was bashing the episode left and right, because it was just felt like we were kind of screwed and toyed with. But after seeing the Season 7 premiere, I can understand why. If you had someone die in the Season 6 finale, it would take away from Negan's entrance. And also, how do you do that with the two characters, I don't know. I almost think the episode should have been like super long. Maybe they could have incorporated everything so that the Season 7 premiere could have been the Season 6 finale, so that you have a really, like, what would you have rather had, a killer finale or a killer premiere? I don't know. Maybe AMC has opinions about that for their ratings, but judging how the ratings for Season 7 occurred after that, I'm not too sure. You had 17 million people tuning in for that Season 7 premiere, and then it dipped to like 12. So 5 million people were presumably only there to see who Negan killed. So I guess. Or they were just pissed off that their favorite characters were killed off, or that they had to wait that long for that result to come up. So whatever. I mean, I feel like I should do another video where I look at the Facebook comments for The Walking Dead on Facebook, because again, it's just unoriginal at this point. Like, it's just, I used to be surprised that people were bashing the show, but now it's like, oh, let's see what creative comment I can look at this hour, this day. I don't know. I feel like it's trolling. At this point, I feel like it's trolling. I feel like these people just do it just to troll and just to have dumb comments on the page that get thumbs up because they know they're getting attention. So whatever. Yeah, I'll try to make some more vlogs as we lead up to the big premiere, and it's going to be cool. It's another part of the comic books that I've read that I'm looking forward to. So thank you guys, and I will see you later for that content. Peace out.